Hi. Right. I've never done this before. Um, if anyone, I don't think there's anyone watching this, but it's unbelievably quiet here. I I have received a threatening letter from the landlord, despite all my complaints to all agencies, including a sergeant, a police officer, and a PCSOs who witnessed bullying and intimidation. I've had my bedroom window smashed. There's criminal damage to the property. One of the neighbours is scared. I've got to be very careful what I say. I've left notes for them, and the neighbours have seen. It's unbelievably quiet here. I haven't bathed for days. I haven't cleaned my teeth for days. I'm absolutely filthy, and I'm about to go and sort that out. But I just thought I might give this a try. I'm going to read the letter because, despite the fact, and I think it's because I have sent on the 18th of January very, very, very long email to not only just complaining about a call handler, a government agent, infiltrator, all these individuals that have had a dereliction of duty. I've been terrorised in my own home to the point where I thought I was the evicted tenant from November that was seen by neighbours entering the property. In November, I thought that tenant was going to kill me, and she threatened to do me harm if she ever saw me out and about. And on Friday night, I came back from my partner's flat, and we had a massive argument. And I was harassed in the street. A dog walker saw me, a dog walker with a yellow visor. And a neighbour. In fact, actually, it's quite strange that a dog walker, well, dog walkers can be out at any time, but she was wearing a yellow visor. This is in the early hours of Saturday morning, and she thought it was odd that this tenant, who I've reported for theft and bullying and everything, and even when this is someone else in room 3, the police asked if I'd be willing to go to court to testify over hers and her partner's violence. Yeah, this is that tenant in room 3. This is someone who has called me an effing head case in front of paramedics, because they call paramedics every time you're suicidal. And my partner used the dictaphone to record her calling me again an effing head case in front of the contractor. Well, that contractor, that they all turn out to be corrupt. I have to say this. There's an American lady I can relate to, who I think they call it shadow banned, who makes videos about being trafficked and MK Ultra, and there's very various levels of trafficking, and I know a lot about, you know, I've been trafficked under adult social care ever since I moved to this town. 6 days before my mother died of cancer, I was forced to sign a homeless application form, and you've got to fight the psyops that they like to do to whistleblowers. But anyway, I just wanted to say that early hours of Friday morning, wonderful Sussex police wanted to treat my phone calls, despite the fact that all these people and this sergeant, uh, I don't know if I should mention their names because it's a catch-22. I've mentioned so many names. I'm not going to get anywhere anyway. But basically, all these I could read you the email that I sent. It's very articulate, but I do actually need to keep some of this private. Um, uh, anyway, sorry if I'm not making any sense. I'm just I've never done a live chat thing. This is all new to me. But basically, the early hours of Saturday morning, I reported what the sequence of events and the fact that a dog walker walked me back to my address, crying, saying I was going to jump off Beachy Head, and she and a man witnessed the woman in room 3 verbally attacking me in the street. And despite all of this, despite all my escalating complaints to the authorities, this is the letter I've got from the landlord. Despite everything, me saying that there's no 24-hour CCTV, having my bedroom window smashed, being attacked in my own home, my partner recording with his dictaphone the conversation between me and the contractor maintenance man over the phone, and her, the one that has attacked me, calling me an effing head case. You couldn't make it up. Antisocial behaviour, addressed to me. Antisocial behaviour, cease and desist notice, final warning. There never was a final warning. And there was never an initial warning because I've been the one blowing the whistle. I regret to inform you that Property Management Limited have received a number of complaints of antisocial behaviour from your address at room 2, Eastbourne. Yes, from me. You are reminded that tenants are not permitted to cause a nuisance or disturbance or to commit any acts of harassment to any other person within the property, common parts of the locality, common parts or the locality of the property. The day I received this letter was when I actually had the harassment out in the street. And before I opened this letter, when the contractors came to the door, I was on the phone to someone at Eastbourne Borough Council, these corrupt, these infiltrated, this town has a stronghold for Freemasonry. I've had my face in the paper as a missing person. They hate me for speaking out. You couldn't make this up. You couldn't make it up. In the early hours, I was harassed, in tears, and walked back to the property in tears here. And as I said, as I was about to say, before I opened this letter that was handed to me by the contractor, I was literally on the phone to this woman. I think her name was Anna. Forgotten now. I spoke to his supervisor. Louise. There's a lovely lady called Emma who said ask for me because she says a lot of questions that need answering. My housing officer has not been doing what he should have been doing. She looked at the notes. She said, I'm going to speak to his manager. I've let the cat out the bag. I've said her name. That's going to go against me. Well, they've done everything humanly possible to me. John Alexander Patterson is incarcerated in Chichester psychiatric unit. I met him at Eastbourne Psych Unit. The Ministry of Defence put him in there. He said, don't jump off Beachy Head, because that is what they want. They're doing this to whistleblowers in their 70s. It's unbelievably quiet here. I actually find it quite creepy how quiet it is. But basically, before I opened this letter, I was on the phone to this call handler saying that on the Thursday night, that would have been the 20th, or the 21st? No, it's 20, last Thursday. At 11 o'clock at night, there were people again going out round the back and over the brick wall that was pulled down, and they shouted at me that I was a grass. I don't feel safe in my own home. The only people I can go to are the neighbours. The local MP, Caroline Ansell, is complicit in my failings. She received the email along with the sergeant, the PC. I'm not going to say their names. Got to be careful what some of what I say. The complaints department. When I complained about the call handler, I recognise the call handlers. It's a very long email, and I've articulated everything. But basically, I was telling this call handler that this is last Friday. I was telling this call handler that that people were still coming in and going out round the back, and I was harassed. I was called a grass. And while I was on the phone, I got a knock on the door from the contractors. They handed me an envelope, and I just, because I know every time I blow the whistle, I'm going to get a fraudulent, threatening letter. I just know that that's what it's going to be, because it's happened before in these places. And it happens, what this American lady is talking about, with the government programs for asylum seekers being trafficked, MK Ultra. She reckons I'm a victim of MK Ultra, which is absolutely rife in this country. They absolutely hate me now because I've mentioned things that are, you mustn't say that. The deep state Britain satanic Institute of Human Relations, Tavistock Institute. It's interesting actually that no, it doesn't matter. Something to do with the fact that she's in Devon. But this is where some police officers and social workers get their training. Anyway, so I've received this. I asked one of the contractor for her name. She wouldn't give it to me at first. It's funny because the man, he had a scarf around his mouth, like literally they've been using these mouth masks as zip it. I said, you're not gonna give me your names. It's amusing, really. People, this is the real pandemic, people, the real pandemic. People have taken their own lives over this alone, but it's the corruption that they're covering up, the corruption. And the irony that I have been vomiting in the toilet from the stress of being attacked in my own home and being the police threatening me, the innocent party, these corporate satanic thugs. Um, oh, hi. Hello. Feels quite weird to do this because I've never done this before. Yeah, this is really weird. I'm not a technical person. So hi. um, yeah, I've got an audience. No, but um, it feels very weird going through all of this on your own. Yeah, yes, it does. It does take getting used to. It's yes. Oh, um, I've got the I do feel really weird. I've got the niacin that you told me about. Um, the flush niacin. I'm going to try that. And I do feel a lot better for taking the vitamin C. And I used to get nervous too, starting out live streaming, but it gets better with time. Yes, yes. Uh, oh yes, yes, awesome. Yeah, I have to say I do feel a lot more relaxed now. Um, but this is the first time I've ever done this live stream thing. I just thought, heck, what the heck? I'll give it a try. Um, but no, I've had a threatening letter from the landlord. Um, I'm the one that's been escalating the complaints to the council and to all the authorities. And it just seems to be the more I stand my ground and stand up for myself and speak up, the more they attack me, the more they want to push me down. And I'm not going to let them do that. I said to a 101 Sussex police call handler, within an inch of my life, they are not going, they're going to have, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say, because if you think it, then it becomes your reality, and then I'm going to make myself ill. I don't take medication. They might want you to give up, hoping you will give in by ramping up the pressure. Yes, 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 by ramping up the pressure. Yes, yeah. No, my partner was it's driven me nuts. They've made me think that my partner is gaslighting me, whether they've done that intentionally or not. I thought I'm thinking crazy things because I on Friday, on the early hours of Saturday morning, I come back from his flat and I've never seen him like this before. And I've got to be careful what I say, but he was like me when I've lost it. He completely, and it was treated as a domestic incident when I rang 101. And I said, no, no, don't focus on that. That's not what I'm reporting. They said, yes, but you've had an argument with your partner. I said, no, when I walked back from my partner's flat, I was attacked in the street, verbally attacked and harassed by the tenant here. And I've just already had this letter that I opened saying, and I'll just finish what it says. We are aware that you have been verbally abusive and physically threatening to our staff when visiting the house. This is what I mean. And my partner had the dictaphone recording me speaking like this to the contractor who gave this letter to me. And so he was the one who said, if you have any problems, let me know. And in that recording, you can't really hear it very well, but that tenant that verbally attacked me in the street was shouting, "You effing head case." My partner recorded this over the phone. I had the phone like this. Now that because they're turning on me because I'm the one who has made the complaints. You continue to make calls to my personal mobile. Okay, I hold my hands up. I did, but only because I wasn't well, and I wouldn't normally do this under normal circumstances. It's like a pressure cooker. You just the stress. Make sure you can record any I've ordered a dictaphone. Yes, I've ordered my own one on eBay because I haven't got the capacity on this thing anymore. That's a cheap phone, the cheapest phone you can buy. Um, my partner is actually praying for me, right? But I'm going crazy. I think because he's lost it. I've seen his doctor's letter. He's not well. I'm thinking he's been gaslighting me. We're both going crazy together over everything I've been put through. But I just want to say I was about to say something and I didn't finish. You continued to make calls to my personal mobile in the early hours of the morning for non-urgent matters, even though you were verbally asked not to do this on multiple occasions unless an emergency. I put my hands up. I wouldn't normally do that. He didn't. They both of them. They didn't answer. Though it went straight to for not that that makes it okay. I never ring people after 9 o'clock in the evening. It's stress. It's a build up. Thank you. Your prayers mean so much to me. They really do. Honestly, they do. I do feel really strange because I've never done this before. No, I really thank you. And I've taken a vitamin C drink, dissolved it. Yes, I look forward to trying that. I got the niacin, flush niacin, and I want to try I've got the vitamin C drink, and thank you. I've also got a multivitamins drink. I thought I'd take 3 of them. Do you know what? I've always gone by the recommendation, "Oh, do not take more than," but as you said, it's because they don't want you to get the full benefit of but I do feel good to hear it will do you good. Yes, it does. I don't take medication. They want I'm not taking any of that. I'm not taking any of that poison that I don't need. John Alexander Patterson is 70 years old. He's incarcerated. They're trying to murder this 70-year-old man, and I've got to live with these idiots who can do whatever they want. They could kill me. They could I don't even want to say it. No, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. They take drugs, they bully, they criminal damage. That's why they call it the UK criminal justice system. I've been told by people that if I had a probation officer, I'd get the help. But because I don't commit crime and I don't do these things and I'm too nice and I'm too outspoken and all of that, you know, I've had a punch in the face of reality. They are not there to help you. Social services. I am going to be 39 in March, and I've been trying to get help with my mental health since I was at school. And you just, you know, Yeah, they make it very low. Low. Yeah. Um, I just it doesn't surprise. Obviously, it doesn't surprise me that it's like this, but it's all that MK Ultra satanic stuff. So, it's sort of like you've got to like what I put what the like the stuff I said in that other video that I made. Um, you learn from experience. You do the research and you realize everything that I've ever been my whole life, the stuff that they've pumped us with has been a lie. It, but it's not from conspiracy theories. I found out for myself. I worked with a Freemason, and yeah, it was a dirty old. I thought, oh, there's got to be some sort of secrecy behind this because he he told my mother he wanted to impregnate me in our house, and no, that girl should be impregnated, and I'd like to be the one to do it. Sorry, I don't care what I say. I was 19 and he was 55 and married, and I was very vulnerable, and I let people. I'm used to dirty old men, but you look back and you think, gosh, it's like Girl Guides. It's like, you know, um, Brownie Guides. The ritual that we did was satanic. The blindfolding, the the ritual, the horseshoe, the magic circle, the I would promise to do my best to do my duty to God to serve the Queen. It's not the Queen, it's a goddess. To do with the occult, Ishtar. This is a Masonic hand gesture like all the others. All that stuff. And it's all looks innocent, and the owl, stuffed owl, the owl is occultic, and Walt Disney used it. He was a 33rd degree Freemason. I went to Walt Disney World when I was a child. It's everywhere you look. It's everywhere, everywhere. And that social worker landlord said to me, in supported accommodation, you know too much. I've told people this in all my innocence, in all my and people I tell it how it is, and they don't like it. And now I don't want to think about this too much because obviously I'm only human and I'll go crazy. But you imagine being in that position where all of a sudden you're like, why is no one helping me? A food bank advocate said, why is no one helping Bryony? My partner said it. 99% of charities are run by the Illuminati and all this, the cabal, all that stuff. But you have to, I'm not professing to be some really intellectual person. I'm just going by my own experiences, and I'm looking at other people's experiences, and oh my gosh, you know, I mean, I've had a very in God, I hope there's no one here. I've had a very interesting yeah, I've had a very interesting life, and I've had paranormal activity in the family. I've had a very interesting life. Um, so even when there's nothing happening, even if I was to sleep all day, that's because I'm not well. It's not because I'm lazy. I've got undiagnosed OCD. You should see the clutter over there. Wouldn't usually show people, but I've got a whole garage full of clutter. I lived in my own hoarding and clutter. Um, and I begged for help from the local authorities because there are people out there that do get the help. They get the help. There are people who get help thrown at them with their mental health. In Britain, there's a massive problem with hoarding and clutter. You see the TV programs about hoarders. And when my mother sold the house, that was a bereavement in itself. When my mother died in 2009, my mother would be 83 now. She was everything to me, everything. And I mean, she was my life, is what the air that I breathe. And in supported accommodation, that social worker landlord, you know too much. You go around looking like $1 million. You're too intelligent. My flat will have to be fumigated because of you. I never used to be like this before. Now I've ended up in these. When your mental health deteriorates, most people like me, I'm not attacking everyone who ends up on drugs, because technically speaking, I should be one of those people, or lying in a ditch, murdered. I've had attempted rape. I've had domestic violence. I'm still here. I'm still fighting. I'm speaking my truth, even if my voice shakes, to the end. I have been buying alcohol and wanting to jump off Beachy Head and all of that. But anyway, so yeah, no, I put my hands up, and I am sorry that I tried calling in the early hours. But this is fraudulent. This is blatant lies. And this landlord, I thought he was nice. They're all corrupt. All these people are corrupt. Along with the council and the police and everything. They're all in cahoots. I've recorded. I'm terrified that I'm trying not to think about it. But I recorded her saying in my last video, when I recorded the one in room 4, admitting that she kicked my door and attacked me, the landlord and the council, the contractor and the landlord are working with the council to get me sectioned. That is a threat. I recorded this, and I recorded her admitting that she kicked my door. Now I've got this threatening letter that were just dated 21st of January, 3 days after I sent this very long email chasing up my ongoing complaints ever since I moved in here in November, when I was attacked to the point where I thought this woman was going to kill me. And neighbours have seen that evicted tenant coming in here. The next door neighbour, I've got to be careful what I say, because I want to protect them. But a next door neighbour who said he had his dog poisoned and he's worried about his little boy. He and another man, they're much older men, but he looks very fragile. They've been complaining to the landlord, and the landlord wouldn't do anything. The council know that drugs have been dealt here. It's quiet here right now. Just please pray for me that no one can, because they listen in. They listen in. And so, yeah, these two women are full of, they like to talk themselves up. Oh, I'll beat someone up in a car park. They lie. You know how it is. Liars feed off each other's toxicity, the narcissists. I just got to ignore it. But I've got quite a loud voice, and they do listen. So things couldn't be any worse for me than they already are. But it says here, so this was felt to be harassment. Me ringing the landlord, fearing for my safety in the early hours, was seen as harassment. That's what makes me angry. I'm really sorry that I left messages in the early hours, but anyway, this notice, I haven't done it since, by the way. I was just, when you're in your own home, when you've escalated complaints and you've been attacked to the point where a woman is going to kill, the landlord and the contractor were nice to me to begin with. This is what I don't understand, other than the fact that can only see myself as a targeted individual. It is what it is. Call a spade a spade. Um, I thought that evicted tenant was going to kill me, and neighbours are the only people I can go to. They'd seen her coming in here. I'm scared for my life. And this landlord had the nerve to say to my partner, I just like to enjoy my home. I'm spending Christmas with my family. He doesn't even live in Eastbourne. He lives in Kent. He's got several properties. It's all right for him. He can be safe. This notice acts as a final warning. I couldn't actually read it when I first saw it. It was just like that. But this is the first time I'm actually reading this live. I'm actually looking at it and reading it. This notice acts as a final warning for you to cease any antisocial behaviour with immediate effect. Unbelievable. I say unbelievable, I actually mean the opposite. Believable. Failure to comply with this notice will ensure that an eviction letter is issued. Please be aware that the local authority, this is what's really sickening now. Please be aware that the local authority housing officer has been made aware of this notice. This is a housing officer. If he's talking about my housing officer, this is a housing officer who claimed he didn't receive my emails at the last property I was in. This is why I use the word trafficked, because I went up to Beachy Head on the 26th of October, was practically beaten up. My crime was sitting in the pub, waiting to be served a cup of tea, crying for my dead mother on a world-famous suicide spot, and angry that Sussex police had ignored my calls. Because I was reporting a guest threatening me in a hotel that I'd paid £2,000 to stay in to keep away from my temporary accommodation where I didn't feel safe. And then I was put on a Section 2. I had bruises and scabs on me, and and I was assaulted by staff on the Section 136. So, and what they'd done was they'd packed up all my things at that property, and that's how I've ended up here. So excuse me for using the words trafficked and targeted individual. Anyway, this is threatening. Please be aware that the local authority has been any further breaches to these rules may affect any future accommodation provided by the local authority. They've already done that. I only had to complain about bed bugs crawling on me, and I was made unlawfully street homeless. I had bed bugs crawling on me on blood-stained sheets. I had a woman shouting at me to go and jump off Beachy Head because she was fed up with welfare officers coming to the property. This was a property next door to the supported accommodation that made me sign a homeless application 6 days before my mother died of cancer, and they were meant to be supporting me. Sorry, I haven't read your comments. Sorry. If you keep taking and learning more about vitamins, you'll feel better and better over time and won't need any. Yes, I won't need psychiatric drug. Yes, I don't take psychiatric drugs. I took them for about 12 years. I tried them like sweets in a sweet shop, and it just made me worse. I mean, gosh, I've seen people who've said that they dribble. They've got memory loss. Antipsychotics are so dangerous that I've heard people saying that it's made them go. It's made them behave. Yes. Sorry, I wasn't reading your comments. Yeah, what you said about don't trust the neighbours. That is, it's funny you should say that. I am a little bit worried about that. But I don't want to overthink because I've already done that. I don't trust my partner right now. Do you see what I mean? I'm extremely vulnerable. I could go completely and utterly crazy. Um, oh, bless you. Yeah, I'm just seeing, thank you. I appreciate your prayers. I hope you get back and have a look at this later. I see you have to go now. Um, but I'm just responding to your comments. So hopefully you'll see this a bit later. I hope you look at this later. I'm sorry, I had to just get that off, get that out there. But no, it's funny what you should say about don't trust the neighbours because it has actually. You can't trust anyone though, you see, because I'm not. Um, I feel like I can't trust my partner. But I'm trying to not sort of go completely because the thing is, I can overthink things, and that's the worst thing you can do. You just got to speak your truth, and mm, uh, I. The thing is, I did actually leave notes for next door on this side and on the other side, but I've taken on already. I'm already thinking what you've just said because it's like I'm doing my own safeguarding. How do you find out if you can trust someone or not? Well, I wrote them a long note and I put on the envelope what because it's taken me a long time to put the notes through their doors. And I've written on the envelope what happened on Friday, how I received this fraudulent letter and threatening fraudulent letter, and how this letter comes after I've escalated the complaints. So I wanted to write, I put a very long note on the front of the envelope. So to, I may never find out. They could have lied. The thing is, people can lie. What if everybody was lying? It's like it'd be like the Truman Show. But I don't want to go there because then you would go completely nuts. Because it does feel like the Truman Show. Um, the guy that gave me the keys to this place said he's walked in on dead bodies. But his eyes, you only have to look in people's eyes, and if they look tearful, I've had paramedics and police officers looking tearful. In my mind, I think to myself, well, there must be lots of people out there who are going through the same thing though, because we're living in a crazy world, a corrupt system, the UK. And of course, with all the madness that's going on now, and people could be saying and doing all kinds of things. But this isn't the first time that I've had someone say to me in one of these temporary accommodations that dead bodies were found. In New Haven, uh, this guy who unfortunately he had a probation officer, but he said he was an undercover secret agent in Brighton that to do with paedophiles hunting. But I'm not going to mention that person's name, but he turned out to be quite nasty to me. People have got their issues. Everyone's got their issues in these places. But he too had said that in this temporary accommodation, there was a body that it, this is a place that had been in the local papers. He said that there was a body that had maggots crawling. There was a woman in a praying position. You kind of have to take the management at that temporary accommodation said to me, "Oh, well, if I was to tell you that I could go to the moon, I could." Yeah, but they couldn't be trusted. They were telling people not to believe me. So really, no one can trust anyone at the end of the day. You've just got to be wary. If you yourself know you're telling the truth, I know I'm telling the truth and I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what people think. I'm gonna die telling the truth. And I think that even though I'm shooting myself in the foot by doing that, along the way, at some point, along the way, I'm gonna have to at some point, it's gotta all of this has got to come to an end somewhere. So at some point, I've got to meet the empaths and not just the very good actors and actresses. You know, there are a lot of people who are very good at, Oscar winning performances out there. Um, the world is everywhere you turn, there's narcissistic, covert narcissists, passive aggression, virtue signaling, all these phrases that gaslighting. It's all this craziness that's all around us, and you don't know who to trust. But and unfortunately, because I'm extremely brutally honest, and I've got like vulnerable tattoos across my head. It's like, oh, but even when someone is extremely convincing, I can smell something. I could, something. I've got that, that what do you call it? That is it intuition? No, that what do you call it? When first impressions, something usually, and if it doesn't, if you don't get that first impression about something, there'll be something else that's telling you just be wary. I've only met one person, and I hope and pray I meet her again. And she was genuine. She had empath written all over her. I could hear her crying very quietly to herself. And I've still kept the note that she gave me. I hope and pray I meet that girl again. She's anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got to be so careful. The neighbours. The thing is, the neighbours are the only people that I can turn to because, as I said, it allegedly the contractor said that the neighbours had seen the evicted tenant entering the property. He could have been lying. One of the contractors was laughing at me down the phone when I was in distress about this contractor, John, who has turned on me and had this fraudulent letter typed up. Let me know if you ever have any problems. And even when people say that, I think, yeah, I'll give you a chance, but you're going to turn on me. I know you are, and that's what happens. That is, you give them, at least you give them a chance. Anyway, I prayers. Thank you, critical mass. I really do appreciate your prayers and prayers from anyone. Abba Father, Yahweh willing, or we'll get there. We'll get to the truth. As Andy Devine said, the facts never change. It's people's opinions that change. Brilliant. And my relationship with my partner, please pray for truth and justice there, because our relationship has been broken along the way. Our faith, he came into my life and I changed when he came along. I want to believe it's a change for the better. My faith, I mean, you do meet people who, you'll get narcissists, even those who are living in the truth of our Heavenly Father, Yahweh. And, Alan Horvath's caregiver. If you look up the late Alan Horvath, caregiver, I went on her live stream and I was talking about how suicidal I was, how confused I was about my partner. I was in a state of, I needed people to reach out to me, people with faith. And her reaction was shocking and narcissistic. And she and her moderator started mocking me, saying, we don't want, you know how it is when people say, oh, yo, triggering me. Don't be talking about your suicidal, yo, triggering me, I got that on YRM. And this is what, I'm a different person since my partner came into my life. I've given up everything to do with the occult, spiritual, anything that's remotely against Bible scripture. Because I was into astrology and, everything like that. But, I was very vulnerable. When I was a teenager, my eldest sister made me burn the book of Dianetics, Scientology, literally actually put bleach on it and burn it. It got me in off the street. Yeah, I was so vulnerable. But I've given up everything that's remotely dark and satanic, occult, even praying to angels and all that. Angel Michael will do this and all that. I don't, if it's not in scripture, because, even, Christian idolatry, statues, anything, you can idolize anything, get rid of it, not having anything to do with it. Be clean, cleanse yourself, get rid of all that stuff. So I'm a different person since my partner came along. But because of what I've been put through, I think we're both targeted individuals because we are not conforming to what the cabal want. Me and my partner has the original Hebrew Aramaic scriptures. And we're like this. And I have to believe, even if I think he's being emotionally abusive, I need prayers. I need people's prayers. He's got stitches here where his tendons are when he snatched a knife from me, because I stabbed myself through the arm with a very sharp knife in December 2018. A 6-inch knife right through my arm. I could have lost the use of my arm. The council made me street homeless. It's very dangerous in Eastbourne. Very dangerous. It's one of the worst towns in the UK. Don't believe that it's just this sun-trapped, beautiful town in the southeast. That's what they want you to believe. It is very dangerous here. I mean, I'm finding out for myself when I've lived most of my life down here. But we need prayers. We speak the truth. You speak the truth. You stand up for yourself. But if you're vulnerable as well, you're not fitting the category that meets the criteria of vulnerable. Anyway, I'm just going to stop doing that. And I just wanted to say, please pray for me. Please pray for my partner, Darren. My name's Bryony. And please pray for us. And yeah, well, that's it. So I just wanted to say that. And thank you very much, Critical Mass. Um, thank you so much. I'm sorry I wasn't reading your comments. I just wanted to just get that out there. And when you said don't trust the neighbours, I've already got this. I've got this. It's like in the first instance, I believe what they tell me, but there's another part of me that says, "Be careful, Bryony. You got to be careful because they've already made out that I'm a crazy. This person, this dangerous woman who turned on me, befriended me, and then turned on me, and then she's like, "You're dangerous. And she's screaming and shouting at me like as if I knew her family." And now she's going back to being all friendly again. It's very unnerving. It's creepy. But now there's no one in here. Well, it's deadly silent. They've been having men in here. They take drugs. They do all these things. I say when I say they do all these things, they're not they're not like they're just not meant to have visitors here. Just basic stuff. The point I'm making is I've had a lot of people say a lot of way out, a lot of, things to me. But then it's like my godmother, my Portuguese godmother, she rang me out of the blue. She's going on about, oh, there's this deadly killer out there. It's killing loads of people. I'm not seeing anyone. I buy my shopping online. And I'm thinking, crumbs, I've been in social isolation, I can't say isolation for 11 years. And I'm upset. I couldn't tell her that I'm hurt because she said, I've got my own grandchildren, I've got my own problems, you know, putting me down. And then all of a sudden she rings me out of the blue. She doesn't know that I've had my bedroom window smashed, and I'm telling her. But then my eldest sister and my middle sister has bought into what the cabal wants. She's had a sex change to a man. That doesn't come across as the biggest surprise in the world because she's always been like a tomboy and dressed in men's clothes ever since she was a child and I was a baby. So, uh, tomboy all round. But she's doing what, the elite want. She's actually working for the very people that made me homeless. South Down Housing Association. So I pray that she isn't being brainwashed, and I don't really want to think about it. But either it's what's in her heart. It's we all have to go to the Heavenly Father ourselves. But she's working for people with severe learning disabilities. She's done that for years. But South Down Housing Association, these are the people, the same under the roof of the people who had me under their care. And I had problems with my sisters who were being horrible narcissists. The eldest one, they've got 3 houses between them. I've slept rough, but I'm not going to go to my sisters for help. I because it's up to them. If they know. So my godmother just rings me out of the blue a few days ago, and she doesn't know what I've been going through. I'm getting attacked and everything. She lives in New Haven, and there's a lot. If people are going to lie, they're going to lie. There's nothing I can do about it. If they're going to, I can't go crazy over this though, because how can I trust anybody? If there's nobody to turn to and all I can do is pray, and they're using your mental health as a weapon, not to help you. Anyway, but anyway, thank you. Thank you. I know I sound a bit manic, perhaps. This is the way I am, but I don't need, as John Alexander Patterson said. If you look up John Alexander Patterson, he said people don't need pills. They don't get to the root of the problem. Or I know the Beatles were Satanists and Aleister Crowley and all that, but as they sang, all you need is love. That's all you need, love. It's all I needed was love and support. Nobody needs nobody needs drugs. There's $1 billion industry for this poison that messes people up. And whistleblowers and people that don't need to be in psychiatric units. It was said, it was predicted decades ago, even in the 1960s, that one day psychiatric units would be used as prisons, and they are. They are. And even if you take away all the MK Ultra stuff and all that, at a basic common sense stuff, this is a threatening letter from a landlord when I've already had my interim duty illegally discharged. This lot can break the law as well as the rules, whilst we've got people in their 70s incarcerated in prison simply for whistleblowing child abuse and corruption. John Alexander Patterson has given his life, excuse my arse wipes. And I don't name call. I'm doing this, I don't do name call. I'm doing this just for the live stream for this video. But you know what? I haven't name called to anyone. I haven't called anyone anything. Do you know what? The contractor said that I was name calling by calling them corrupt. I said corrupt is not a noun; it's an adjective, and I call a spade a spade. You're proving yourself that. I said, and do you realise, as we've been speaking, this tenant, who then went on to attack me, has called me an effing head case whilst we've been talking. And this is while I had my phone like this and Darren was recording with his dictaphone. I don't know if I can trust my own partner who brought me to our Heavenly Father's Kodesh name, Yahweh, the Hebrew, the name that was given to Moses at the burning bush. I don't know. But anyway, I think, I just, rather than talk about anything else, I'd rather just concentrate on the facts. The facts never change, opinions do. And these are the facts. And whether people believe them or not, whatever. But it is what it is. This is what has happened. I am being targeted for complaining and telling the truth. When I've lost my temper, when I've gone absolutely loopy on the rare occasion that I did in the last few years, that was a result of stress. Stress does terrible things to human beings. We are all human at the end of the day. Most people would not survive 2 minutes in my shoes. And I've had to stop myself. I got a thumbs up from a nursing assistant. Let me just say this. I got a thumbs up from a nursing assistant for completely just because I was begging for help from these people. Basically, you could put it like this, banging on the doors to get into the psychiatric unit because I needed help, because I'm human, to ending up banging on the doors to get the hell out because I didn't realise this is about fear and control. It's not about help. So even if you take away the so-called conspiracy theory, and by the way, conspiracy theory doesn't mean that it's not true. It means it's a theory. It's a theory. It is what it is. I'm a targeted individual that's been trafficked. It's the first time I've used these phrases. And the definition of trafficked does not necessarily have to mean that you're a prostitute and you've been forced into a sex situation. No, it means you've been forced into taking this set of circumstances. If you don't take this home, there'll be nothing else. You can't be street homeless, so you've got to take what's offered to you. Take it. You take it. Right, okay. So I've been bullied and harassed to suicide, practically. I've had to several times I have got a refund on alcohol, poison. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs. I go to the supermarket, pick up bottles of poison, vodka, think about downing it all and jumping off the cliffs. That is what these people have been pushing me to do. So it is what it is. Anyway, thank you for listening to me. I didn't think that anyone was actually going to listen to me. I thought I'd just be talking to, talking to myself. But no, but thank you so much, Critical Mass. And I've got the, I got it in the post. I've got the flush niacin. And I actually bought 3 packets because sorry, I spat on the sorry. I thought I might as well just buy a packet. My partner and I can both try this together, but it's very sensitive between me and my partner because even the food bank advocate thought that he was emotionally abusing me, because the thing is, he took the caring role through Care for the Carers, which Caroline Ansell, the local MP, suggested. And I said to Darren, my partner, you might as well have just been another handler, because every time you called the police, all I had to do was disagree with my partner, and he'd call the police, they'd grab me, throw me down, and put me in handcuffs. That's not normal. What kind of a psychopath? And by the way, at the Nuremberg trials, the Nazis, they said, they claimed that they were following orders. That's not enough to get them off the hook. It's a hangable offence, because the police, by law, by common law, if they think that what they're doing, if they think they've got a conscience, they've got a mind of their own, if they think that what their order that they've been given, if they think it's a detriment to the person that they're dealing with, they do not by law have to follow orders. The Nuremberg trial, they did that thing in America, the test, where it was a fake setup just to see how far. It was a test to see if a human being would be willing to give this person so many volts of electric shock to the point where this person is screaming in pain, and it was an actor's voice. And this very, very, very frightening test proved that that every human being, if they're given orders, well, sorry, I'm not very good at wording this, but basically, in layman's terms, people will do what they're told to do, even if it's causing someone torture, a risk to life. They will instinctively carry out. I'm no good at wording this. but anyway, there we go. Uh, and this dangerous thug, the three of them up there up on Beachy Head. That male police officer is dangerous. He knew, I could see in his eyes, he knew that what he was doing was wrong. And when he was the same one that just literally within a week, no, hang on a minute. No, it was the 26th of October that he assaulted me on Beachy Head. And then in early November, about a week or just over a week later, 2 weeks, something like that. Yeah, it was early November. I found myself being attacked in my own home to the point where I thought this tenant was going to kill me, and he was smiling like he found it humorous. And since then, even last month, he turned up again here. So it's like they're using this dangerous individual because I've been complaining about this place, and he turned up and he got threatening in my face. And I had to walk out. And I walked all the way to the custody centre, and the sergeant there, this is in Eastbourne, told me to go to the patrol centre. And I had the reverse psychology that they love, and I was threatened by a police officer there with forcible removal. So I went back to the custody centre, and that same sergeant just went, "Oh, he's no longer there. He's gone home now." I said, "He threatened me with forcible removal, even though I told him that you had told me to go there." And well, they're all idiots, nasty people anyway. Very, very psychopaths. Absolutely, they're pathologically sick individuals anyway. But this sergeant reckons that I don't know what he's been through. When I said to him, "Do you realise that your Sussex police have made me suicidal with what they've done?" "Oh, well, you don't know what I've been through." What kind of a sergeant says that? They are sick people. They really are very sick people. All I can do is just keep praying. And anyone who's watching this, if you could just forward this to anyone out there and just get them to just and to any government agents, anyone out there who knows me, because I'm well known as a constituent. I'm not treated as a constituent. I'm treated as the pieces of dirt that they are. You might not have feelings in this life, but in the next life, you laugh at me many times. You've seen me in this state, you so-called public servants. And you're so brainwashed, I feel so sorry for you. But you don't have to. And when you're in court, because it's 25 years malfeasance of office for each and every one of you for what you have done, you cannot say, I followed orders. It's not your fault that you're brainwashed, because was his name Hermann Goebbels said on the Nuremberg trials, it was people said, how did you get people to become Nazis? And he said at the Nuremberg trials, very simple. Fear. How do you get people to wear mouth masks? Same answer. Fear. I don't wear them. I don't wear a mask. I don't take pills for medication. I tell it how it is. I suffer. My body was made by the Heavenly Father in the most amazing way. He works in mysterious ways. Our bodies, we are capable of so much more than we actually realize. We're being held back. We are being held in. There's a psychological and spiritual warfare going on. There's so much I could be doing out there, and I've got so many stories to tell. People have said, well, why don't you write a book? I'm too bloody exhausted. It would have to be an audio book. But, everybody needs to get together and just tell it how it is. You cannot use. Would you go to court? You say you're commanding officer, your sergeants and whatnot. If you'll use Sussex Police, yeah, you find yourself, because it will happen one day. Mark my words. That's why they're scared of me. That's why they're scared of John Alexander Patterson. That's why he's in a psychiatric unit, being murdered for exposing child abuse and everything. You think that you can actually say, "Oh, I was told to do it." If they told you to jump off a cliff, would you do it? Because you're making a lot of innocent people like me go and jump off Beachy Head. I know, because when I had my face in the local Herald, Eastbourne Herald, and I've been blocked from telling the truth. Another patient discharged himself because they weren't helping him, obviously, and he went and jumped off Beachy Head. June 2018. That same year, I was discharged with nowhere to go. My lead practitioner didn't want to know when I had a knife against my neck, and I stabbed myself through the arm. And now my partner's got stitches from where he'd snatched a knife. Oh, it makes me cringe. This is what it does. This is what it does. When you've already got trauma, bereavement, I couldn't walk around doing the British stiff upper lip forever. I couldn't walk around like, oh, look, oh, she's so articulate. Oh, how are you? Oh, yes, because my mother saw me as like a Jane Austen lady. And these idiots here, oh, she's got a silver spoon in her mouth. I said to these corrupt people, I said, I am no Mary Poppins. What you see is what you get with me. I'm not a snob. I'm not perfect, but I'm not going to put up with being bullied and made. These idiots should have been evicted, and they weren't. And this one that has attacked me in front of the contractor and in the street, Charmaine from room 3, she'd begged me not to call the police. When I heard her and her partner, she begged me in tears. And I said, okay. She said, I'll go to bed. I won't say it. I'll be quiet. Okay. And I didn't. I had to eventually, because it happened again. And I didn't feel safe. And their room was right next to the bathroom. I'd already been attacked by the evicted woman that they are friends with, because they all know each other. They know the area. They use this place as a DOS house for drugs and all that. I am not going to put up with it. So anyway, I would really like it if you know anyone who could support me or anything, share it. Whatever. Okay. But anyway, so I'm going to shut up now because I've been ranting for over an hour now. But thank you, Critical Mass. Thank you. And I really do mean it. It feels really weird doing this because I'm a jabberbox, but your prayers mean a lot, and may Yahweh bless you too. I think your advice is the best yet. Because I've just learnt from this American lady, she turned funny towards me. She wasn't very nice, which is a shame because I can actually relate to a lot of what she says. There is some stuff that I haven't talked about, but I can relate to her. But she's absolutely right about, this MK Ultra thing. I can't be sure of what I'm a victim of, but, oh, thank you, bless you too. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you. This American lady who's in the southwest. I'm in the southeast. She's living in the most beautiful part of the country, where actually, ironically, where I'd like to live. I've got happy memories of Devon and that. Um, but she's saying that the handlers, because she's a part of the UK government referen referral something govern UK referral system, something or other. Anyway, but they're all part of it, the Illuminati and the Salvation Army. I've been down there. I know a lot about you know, where Satanism is Freemasonry. I know a lot about all that stuff. Not in the way that this lady does, but I paid £45 to the family tracing at Salvation Army to find my father, and they did that. But no one was supporting me with my mental health, even though adult social care were meant to be. But anyway, I've learned a lot of dark stuff about, and the people that I've met along the way. Wow, it beats TV and magazines, I tell you. But then I learnt some things about my own family and my mother. So, you know, I've got some stories of my own. Uh, but obviously nothing like I've never been an actual victim of SRA or anything like that. But what this American lady was saying about they let out these her handlers are also programmers. I see this is a terminology that I can understand because of what I've experienced as finding out for myself that like this social worker landlord, he was in it for the money. He said he'd get a good pension, and in the psychiatric unit there was I do actually when this American lady mentioned this in one of her videos, there was actually one of the nursing assistants that no longer works there. Horrible, this horrible Oriental lady. She she was a landlady, and people said to me, "Oh, she used to be really horrible." They had to have a word with her, and I said, "What? She was horrible?" I said, "Gosh, if this is her nice now, I hate to think what she was like before because oh, the toxicity of her attitude. Oh, that proper narcissistic. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. It's Darren's problem. It's not my problem. It's your problem. And it's like, ooh, uh, um, but she wasn't one of the worst ones. But you only have to look at the person's face, and it's like, ah, you know. Um, but even if you were to take away the MK Ultra, you can see you just suddenly click what's going on here. But as I said, in that video, you can see I shared my ward review. Sorry, can't stop touching my face and my. I've been scratching my head so it bleeds, and that's what the stress is doing. But anyway, I have been talking for well over an hour. I am very animated, but thank you very much, seriously, thank you for your prayers. This does feel really weird, um, and that's why it does help to articulate. Um, I'm gonna finally go and get in the bathroom because I know this sounds really disgusting, but I haven't cleaned my teeth for days, I haven't seen a dentist for years, and I'm really worried. You know how it is with your mental health, your teeth and your personal hygiene are the first things to go. Um, so, anyway, thank you for your prayers, and me and Darren, we would really, um Darren and I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to get my grammar right. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, no. Well, I'm going to wrap this up now. Um, hi. This is the first time I've done this. I just wanted to say hi there, and uh, you know, um, uh, yeah, thank you for your, uh, you know, Um, yeah, anyway, I'm just responding to you. Um, I've never done this before, so I'm just, um, um, I've never done this before. So I'm just looking at all the emojis. Um, anyway, I'll just put a smiley face there. Um, thank you for your prayers. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Because I don't know if you can type something when you've pre pre. I've never done this before. Sorry. Um, yeah, it's the first time I've ever done this, so I'm just yeah. But thank you, people, for thank you. It's nice and quiet here, but I'm also a bit critical mass. The thing about you've got to be careful with the neighbours. It's like already know that, but I don't want to think about it too much because I already struggle. I'm like constantly everything goes through my head all at once. I've got a problem with them. I don't know if it's OCD, but I when I've washed things, I wash them again. It's like a comfort thing, and stress does that. I feel like I need to keep washing things. But right now, I really need to scrub myself. But what you see is what you get with me. There's only one thing that's insane. It's not me. It's all this madness that's making me mad. Because we're all, eccentric is good. I could write a black comedy about what I've been through, and like a Ricky Gervais comedy, but it would have to be really black, really black. Anyway, so this feels really strange. Um, yes, this is my first time doing a live stream, and I thought I'd just be talking to myself, hoping that someone might see it. But no, that's great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so used to being on my own, so it when you're on your own, when you're alone and you're on your own, it does make you. But it's being around idiots all the time. That I don't want people to think that I'm oversensitive. Um, I don't. I really. I've had bullying all my life. If they want to do what they go in my cupboards, they mess everything up. They turn my pepper pot and my salt thing upside down. I've got notes in there that say, uh, "Don't touch my things. You've got my own. You've got your own shelves," and they mess things up. It's so infantile and demented. But these people haven't got a lot. They need to get a life. Oh, you sleep all day. I don't sleep all day. There's so much I want to do with myself. I've struggled with my mental health. I've been bereaved. I've learned things about my family that I didn't know before. My mother told me about her illegal abortion in Pennsylvania, uh, 1958. That was 24 years before I was born, via a male prostitute in New York. And that's why my mother was really strong. She lived in New York in the 50s. Times were hard. It toughened her up. She had a privileged upbringing. I've got, these qualities, and she was a very strong, even when she had cancer, she wanted to be left alone. And I clung to my mother's apron strings. People don't understand me. I don't know anyone out there who's like me. People will say to me, "Oh, I was close to my mother. Get over," but then they'll be like, "Oh, get over your mother's death." And most people don't have that. I mean, some people are close to their mothers, but even my middle sister, who's living as my brother, um, she apparently said to my mother, "I don't think it's normal how I feel about you," but that's how I feel about my mother. Um, you are alive in a time of great healing, my sister. You're going to witness a miracle of a lifetime very soon. Thank you. Yes, that's what I want to believe. Me too. Thank you. I really do appreciate this. Um, it doesn't it 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 I don't feel the healing. I'm still I feel anger. I'm never gonna get over what the police did to me and what the psychiatric unit kept doing to me. I want to believe that it's gonna make me stronger. I want to just, slap myself. I actually slapped myself just then. But I really do want to just get over myself and and just come on, pull yourself together. Um, um, but I do, unfortunately, I'm someone who does attract idiots. It's just one of those things. I attract a lot of people who are very good actors and actresses, and they take advantage. Um, but I'm not stupid. I give him a chance, and uh, you know, it's very difficult though, because with my partner, I know, rationally speaking, he's not well. He's been brought into things he really doesn't like. He's a lot older than me, but a fair bit older than me, but there's a very fine line between emotional abuse and overwhelming stress. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are, and that's what I'm struggling with because he doesn't like the phrase codependency, he doesn't like the phrase narcissism, but are very these words are resonate with me so much. I hope and pray that no one can hear me, because it's nice and quiet here, but it's suspiciously quiet. Um, and, I've been complaining about it being noisy, and I've had this threatening letter from the landlord who's never met me. Just lies, absolute lies. Well, he wasn't wrong about me ringing. Yes, I did get very angry down the phone at the landlord's, but it's only because he wasn't. When you've been attacked, when you've trauma, when you've been bullied and in your own home, and you've had this vandalism, my bedroom window smashed. They It's very there's and it was very creepy how he and the contractor both said, "You've got a problem trusting people." I said to my partner, "That's creepy." And he reacted as if I was telling him he was creepy. And he was kind of aggressive about it. And he was aggressive when I had my bedroom window smashed. And he was aggressive um, after this woman attacked me in the street after I'd walked back from his flat, crying my eyes out, wanting to kill myself. And even the dog walker, said to me, "It's a bit strange, isn't it? What was she doing on the corner of Fell Road?" I said, "It's very strange. Very strange. What's she doing on the corner of that road?" But she just happened to be there on the phone in the early hours. So, the when my partner said to me, "I never asked the police to arrest you," all the times he called the police in his flat, I said, "Well, why did you do it? It's not normal to call the police on your partner for disagreeing with you. It's not normal. Not even autism or OCD can forgive that for what they did to me." And he said, "Look, I never asked them. I just don't know. I don't cope with stress well." But you see where I'm going with this. So I only have to disagree with my partner. He's taken this. I didn't need a carer. I feel like he's kept his family away from me, which is a red flag, obviously. But his dad said, "How do you feel about him being your carer?" And I said, "I never asked him to be my carer." It's like he was doing the dirty work of the the cabal, but but not because he wanted to, but because they somehow, I don't know. It doesn't. The only reason he said he only took the caring role because no one in the community was helping me with my mother's death and my mental health and my, if you've ever heard of homeworks, even a paramedic, an older guy, said it's a load of excuse my French, it's bullshit. And I had a laugh with him that this support worker had said, "We're now trained to do less for people, and it's called self-empowerment." And we had a laugh about that. They don't do anything. I'm sorry about that. No, that's okay. No, yeah, I just, when you've just been asking for basic help in the community, this is what I mean when I say I can't see the wood through the trees. And yet, because this is how cruel they are. You can understand why I would believe this MK Ultra stuff. I mean, I was laughing with this. I was 5 hours down at the urgent care lounge, and we're laughing with this nice nurse. Nice nurse. You can't trust anyone, but you know. And she said, she was laughing because I said, because you have to look at the funny side. If you don't, you will go crazy and kill yourself. She said, I said how um, at one of these properties where the Filipino couple were on steroids because of bed bugs, and I had a fraudulent Section 184, bit like this, typed up saying that I broke everything in the property that I had complained about. You couldn't make this up. They're trying to make out I'm a crazy, nutty, you know, that's how I've been targeted. And I'm just throwing it back in their faces and saying, "Do you know what? You're the sick, very sick joke." I was the one doing the complaining, and the plumber confirmed that the washer on the tap had gone, and I put a bit of pressure on it, and it just went whoosh. And it was the Filipino couple that I supported, and the lady was on stripped herself down and showed me all the sores on her body. She went to the council with the bed bugs, said, "Look what I've got here." And they said, "We don't want them." And I said to them, "Well, I don't want them." And she was covered in sores, scratch. It is awful. I hope she's got the legal help that she should have had. Me, I tell you what they did to me. They changed the locks. It started snowing in February of 2018, and I went up to Beachy Head, that famous suicide spot, with a duvet. The landlady and her daughter, this evil mother and daughter, changed the locks. I went up there, suicidal, and guess what? Guess what? This is what this mental health nurse last Friday was laughing about. I was telling her, because it's not funny, but you have to look at the funny side. I was handcuffed up on Beachy Head when it started snowing with a duvet. The locks had been changed. I was put on a Section 2. They only allowed Darren into the property to get my possessions back. And this evil landlady threw in other people's clutter because I said I had a hoarding problem. She threw in unsanitary waste. It went straight into storage, and I was put on a Section 2, bruises again. And I was illegally, forcibly injected, a hangable offence under Nuremberg trials to this day. Do you know why they did that? Because I got angry that they weren't giving me my phone to call the police to get my possessions back. They only allowed my partner into the property, wait for it, yet they banned me from walking into the local council, and yet they banned Darren, my partner, from visiting me in the psychiatric unit. To head F me up, to think that he was abusing me. That is how sick they are. He took this caring role through Care for the Carers, and that is why our relationship has been ruined. And that is why I really do need people's prayers. And I just want to finish on that note, because I want people to think about that. I just want Sussex Partnership. Sussex Partnership are already guilty of covering up suicides and murders. One in particular, the family of their son who was murdered. The family of the murdered son are angry that Sussex Partnership didn't help the man who murdered their son. What does that tell you? That alone. The CQC are the gatekeepers, as Andy Devine said. The gatekeepers Thank you so much. I really do appreciate your prayers. Me and Darren will really appreciate them, and protect us from the whatever's out there. Uh, this does feel strange, I have to say. But anyway, thank you so much. There's only one thing that's insane, and it's true what they said up in London. What was it? At the protests. I wish I'd been there. Ooh. Um, what did they say? They were chanting, "Shove your new world order up your ass. Shove your new order up your ass." I like that because it is what it is, isn't it? At the end of the day, and I thought that was great. And in actual fact, David Icke, I've seen him saying exactly what I said, which is people need to get their heads out of the sand and stop being everyone's in their own bubble. That's exactly what I said. Ooh, I keep spitting at the screen. Sorry, sorry, but no, well, yeah. So the protests up in London, yeah. I mean, choose your side is what they're saying. So anyway, no, thank you very much, and it's been good to have a good rant. It's been nearly 2 hours. Whoopsie. I better sign out for now, and I'm spitting all over the laptop. I've got globules of spit all over the laptop. Um, anyway, um, this society is run by evil people in general. Yes, and you need to stay away from these people. Yes, the military has a plan to defeat the cabal. Yes, I wish stay safe. Thank you. I wish I had the brains that Andy Devine and John Patterson and all those people have, because there's only so much my brain can process. But um, um, I just wish I had my brains. I wish I could, because I met John Alexander Patterson in the canteen queue. I said to him, I contacted a BBC producer, Panorama producer, who the BBC are the enemy within, but they just happen to be making a documentary about psychiatric abuse. And I was going through hell, and I just mentioned it, and that's how I got talking to him. And I sat on a table with him in the canteen, a 70-year-old John Alexander Patterson, who's currently in the Chichester psychiatric unit. I've got 12 stamps to send to him. And I'm still living in the 90s when stamps were 33 pence. A book of 12 first class stamps costs a tenner now. But anyway, I remember I sat on a table and he said, this is the intelligent table. And he said something. And I said, I didn't understand. And then he said, repeat what I've just said. And I was so embarrassed I couldn't repeat it. I don't know if I've got a learning difficulty, but I couldn't. I've got a problem where I just processing the information. But trauma and stress can do that as well. But yeah, John Alexander Patterson, he's an ex-naval. I thought he was ex-RAF. No, he's ex-naval fraud investigator. And the Ministry of Defence, he was outside the Royal Courts of Justice with documents about the satanic ritual, the baby murders and stuff. And Sussex police were down there outside, up in London, out of their jurisdiction, out of their, what do you call it? And they bundled him into a police van that sped through all the way from London to Eastbourne through red lights with the siren going. and they put him in the psychiatric unit, and I think a lot of that would explain their psychological warfare. So believe me, this goes beyond just all the anti-austerity bull sh1t, because the Eastbourne People's Assembly turned on me, the Herald turned on me. I'm blocked from all anything to do with Eastbourne stuff. But that's how you find out who your friends and foes are. I'm sure there are a lot of people that don't like me. Adamant wrote to me when he was making the Channel 4 documentary in 2000 and oops, it just said that my battery's low. Whoops, I better plug that in. But this is Adamant, who he's I've found things out about him and his links to Freemasonry. It's not his fault that his dad was part of a famous paedophile sex ring in Dolphin Square. But I used to be heavily into Adamant. I don't know if any of you have heard of him, but 80s pop star. I was heavily into Adamant for all these years. And yeah, he's into a lot of the dark. Anyway, but it's I've learned a lot about life and the dark side. But anyway, no. Anyway, I better shut up because I've been talking for nearly 2 hours. This feels really weird, and I mean weird in a good way. And I'm really worried that people are listening because it's so quiet here. It's nice quiet, but it's also because I don't feel safe here. I've been complaining to the authorities that I don't feel safe here. So I'll show you. I've got a panic alarm here, and I've used it once. Can you believe that I used this panic alarm on the tenant above me? I ran outside, pulled it out, rang 999, and this is after I'd been 2.25 hours on the phone to a sergeant who said he'd do all these things and investigate and stuff, and then he decided I'll just ring 101, didn't want to know. And that's when the neighbour opened the window and said, I've been telling the landlord that they've been going, you've had visitors going out round the back over the wall and he's not interested. So I'm hoping and praying that I can trust the neighbours, hoping and praying that they're not as yes, yeah. Well, thank you. I'm going to take this into the. I was attacked while I was in the bath when I moved in here. The evicted tenant that's been seen coming into the property, when I moved in here in November, I jumped at, she was banging, banging, banging. And I was like, what the hell? All I'd done was complain about door slamming. And the landlord was nice to me. He said, has she got visitors there? Are there men there? I said, yes. And then she went, I didn't know that there were men here, but I could hear people. I'd just moved in here and I was in the bath. This woman went berserk. I thought she was going to kill me. And I ran down the stairs with a towel wrapped around me. There were holes in the toilet door where she's kicked the door. It's like a scene from The Shining horror with wood chippings in the carpet where she kicked the door of the toilet door. I locked myself in my bedroom. Well, first of all, I was shaking. I tried to get my key in the door, shaking, dripping wet with a towel around me, and there were men outside my door. Locked myself in. Bang, bang, bang. I went to climb out honest to goodness, it's a miracle, and I'm not being dramatic. I've never been so scared in my but anyway, I'm gonna shut up now because 'cause I've been here on talking for nearly 2 hours. Um, I'm never gonna have a bath if I don't get in the bath. Um, 'Cause it's 12 minutes past 11, and then, I wanna get in there while it's nice and quiet because 'cause they've stolen, uh, my bath things before, and, it's not nice here. But the sooner I get out, the better. Anyway, thank you very much for your prayers, and, it's nice to know that there are people that do care. Obviously, I have to be, vigilant, not just a vigilante. Uh, but, I'm going to switch this off now, so, I'm gonna say thank you very much, and, um, and have a good evening. Um, so hopefully I can, yeah. I'm signing off now then, okay? Good night. Thank you, Smiley. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. I just end the stream now. Thank you. Good night.